As humanity lives on, one of the common goals there is evolution. There is a relentless advancement in humans in discovering unknown methods, unveiling of hidden places, and innovating something new. Now, all these are done for the breakthrough of the current progress there is, so that, as time goes by, life can be done easier. An amazing thing about this is how we live our lives daily, seeing every single object there is, but never truly realizing how are they made or what do they comprise of. Every artificial thing we see today are the improved versions of what had been done before or what had been used before. Well, except for nail cutters, they had always stayed the same. Now, it is because of continuous progress that we get to live our lives like this. But let me ask you, when was the last time that you held the basketball or the last time that you had to put your rubber shoes on? Do you recall seeing the PVC pipes during an ongoing construction project? Yes? No? Well, let me tell you, the materials which makes those up are made from polymers. Yes, polymers. Now, here is a water bottle. It is an example of a perfect polymer. Now, that's what we will be discussing today and for the rest of the video.
In our lives, we use many items made from polymers so that we can do work with ease, comfort, and improve effectiveness. For example, plastic, rubber, nylon, synthetic fibers, etc. But before we get to know the other materials developed for professional fields, let's proceed first to discuss what a polymer is, what are its classification, and how does it work. To start off, what is a polymer? Rooting from its term, polymer in Greek are two words, poly, which means many, and mer, which means part or units, and when combined together, it means many parts. A polymer is defined as a compound which are built up by two or more small molecules that is linked together and called monomers. Therefore, a monomer is the building block or repeating structural unit of a polymer. Polymers are made from a process called polymerization, wherein the simple reactive molecules get held together by covalent bonds. When these monomers get big enough, like when thousands of monomers get attached to each other, they form a macromolecule. As stated previously, the process of joining many monomers together to form polymers is called polymerization. Polymers are found in two ways. Depending on the type of polymerization mechanism or the mode of synthesis by which they are formed. The two modes are addition polymerization or chain growth polymerization and condensation polymerization or step growth polymerization. In addition polymerization, monomers such as an alkene or an alkygene add together to form a polymer which is called addition polymer. While in condensation polymerization, the molecules combine with the elimination of simple molecules such as water, alcohol, and ammonia to form a polymer. Moving on to the classification of polymers, there are three: synthetic polymers, natural polymers, and semi-synthetic polymers. They cannot be classified under one category because of their complex structures, different behaviors, and vast applications. For synthetic polymers, these are the man-made polymers. The best example for this would be plastic. For natural polymers, they occur naturally and are found in plants and animals. A good example for this classification would be rubber, which are processed for products with purposes of the sort. For semi-synthetic polymers, they are derived from naturally occurring polymers and undergo further chemical modifications. An example would be cellulose acetate.
Now that the main classification of polymers had been discussed, let's go deeper to the different classification based on the structure of their monomer chain. First, linear polymers. When the structure of polymers contains long and straight chains, then they fall under this category. An example of this would be PVC or polyvinyl chloride. Next, branch chain polymers. When linear chains of a polymer form branches, then they fall under this category. An example of this would be low-density polyethylene. Next, cross-linked polymers. Under this category, polymers are composed of bifunctional and trifunctional monomers, where they have a stronger covalent bond. An example of this would be a bakelite. Let's now move on to the other way of how polymers are classified. If another basis to classify polymers are needed, then they can be classified according to their polymerization. For addition, polymerization, example would be Teflon and PVC, while for condensation, polymerization, example would be nylon and polyesters. The next classification can be according to their monomer, which has two homomer and heteropolymer or copolymer. In homomer, when a single type of monomer is found in the chain, it falls under this category. An example would be polyethylene, while in copolymer, the type of monomer found in the chain is more than one. An example of this would be nylon. Lastly, they can be classified according to their molecular forces, which has 4 elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics, and thermosetting polymers. In elastomers, the polymers have weak interaction forces present, and they are rubber-like solids. An example under this would be rubber. In fibers, the polymers have strong forces of interaction and have a strong, tough, and high tensile strength. An example under this would be a nylon. In thermoplastics, the polymers have intermediate forces of attraction. An example under this would be a PVC. In thermosetting polymers, the mechanical properties of material is greatly improved by the polymers. In particular, it improves the material's chemical and heat resistance. An example under this would be a silicone.
We hope by now that you are getting a picture of what polymers are. If it seems too vague still, I will be talking about its properties so that you can picture it better. As to why there is a vast number in the different materials made from polymers is because each one has a purpose based on its properties, which is important per situation for its use. For their physical properties, the tensile strength of polymers increases when the chain length and cross-linking. Another, polymers do not melt. They change state from crystalline to semi-crystalline. For their chemical properties, the polymer is enabled with hydrogen bonding and ionic bonding, resulting in better cross-linking strength, unlike with conventional molecules with different side molecules. Another, dipole-to-dipole bonding side chains enable the polymer for high flexibility. And lastly, polymers with van der Waals forces linking chains are known to be weak, but give the polymer a low melting point. For their optical properties, due to their ability to change their refractive index with temperature, as in the case of polymethyl methacrylate and hydroxyethyl methacrylate, methyl methacrylate or MMA are used in lasers for applications in spectroscopy and analytical applications. In the first discussion, there are two unmentioned types of polymers that are special because of their properties: biodegradable polymers and high-temperature polymers. For biodegradable polymers, the polymers can be degraded and decayed by microorganisms like. These types of polymers are used in surgical bandages, capsule coatings, and in surgery. An example for this would be polyhydroxybutyrate or PHBV. For high-temperature polymers, apparent in its name, these polymers are stable at high temperatures. Because of their high molecular weight, they are indestructible even at immense temperatures. They are extensively used in the healthcare industries for making sterilization equipment and in the manufacturing of heat and shock-resistant objects. With that, we can now talk about the different materials made for particular professional fields and why is such made from polymers.
So now that the fundamentals in polymers have been discussed, let's progress to our last and main discussion for this video, which are the current materials developed for different fields such as construction and in medicine. In the field of medicine, polymers are very significant since many materials from syringes to artificial organ parts are made from this. We see polyethylene in plastic bags, plastic sheet, and everything that has sign of polyethylene. Polyethylene is used in surgical equipment because it is more durable. Polyethylene itself is used in different joints, artificial tendons, plastic muscle ligaments, facial joints, and dentures, and complete hip replacement and recognize the gastrointestinal parts as well as replacement. It is one of the most important polymers used in medical equipment. Another form of polymer is called ultra-high molecular weight because of its large molecular. The next type are called polyvinyl chloride or the so-called PVC are used in tubings. Epoxy is another form of polymer. It is used in dentures and variety of resin. Polyurethane can be formed, so we use polyurethane for facial prosthesis, biodegradable sutures, bones, and joints. Hydrogels are the next type of medical devices. Hydrogels are swellable polymers that are prepared by cross-linking polymer chains by irrigation or chemical methods, and then by swelling the framework with water extending and the network of chains. And as far as medical devices are concerned, the most commonly utilized is polyhydroxyl ethyl methacrylate or FEMA, used in drug delivery, contact lenses, wound healing adhesive, artificial kidney membranes, and places that are essential for water interaction, as well as swellability. Another type is polypropylene. Its physical properties are very similar to polyethylene that has a high flex life, which can be used in finger joint prosthesis, syringes, blood oxygenator membranes, packaging solution, sutures, vascular grafts, and non-woven fabric. The tougher form of plastics commonly used in labs is called polystyrenes, which is normally molded injection. Pure polystyrene is durable yet fragile, and the form of polystyrene is ABS, or acrylonitrile butadiene styrene copolymers, and these are strong polymers you can use in Lego blocks, used in IV packs, blood dialysis, and test kits for medical purposes. Polyesters can be knitted or woven, and it can have a melting point, a high tensile strength, and it is used for vascular grafts, sutures, catheter house, heart valves, meshes, and ligament reconstruction. And it is hydrophobic, so it is good for deterring proteins and can be molded. Another type which respond to monomer containing classes of diisosylate and monomer containing alcohol and used in wound dressings and dialyzers is called polyurethanes. Polyurethanes has a high flexibility and high elongation at the break, which means they can be extended or stretched. Polymethyl methacrylate or PMMA is translucent, almost clear, but it has a strong refractive index for IV devices, contact lenses, dentures, blood pumps, bone cements. The next type is polyamides. It is made of nylon, the first synthetic material with light connections used in abdominal sutures, dentals, and tracheal tubes. Another form of polymer is polycarbonate, which is very rough, durable, translucent form of polymer that is used for protective lenses, eyeglasses, heart-lung bypass machines, and oxygenate furnitures.
So hey guys, it's me again. I hope you learned a lot from our previous discussions about what polymers are, how each material differs from one another, and what are the different materials manufactured made from the different types of polymers. But before I end this, I want to share with you a very important lesson. It is probably the most significant part worth taking note. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed our video. So stay tuned for more of our chemistry talk.